Oh, you're here. Cool. Let me tell you about this issue, which I think a lot of designers have, and probably you did at some point, or maybe you are going to have that issue if you join a different type of organization. And let's face it, a lot of businesses are just immature design-wise, or they're not at where they should be to make effective and awesome user experiences happen. It doesn't matter if it's, service level or a product level experience design or just a design thinking and trying to innovate. It just has to be done right. And one of those, ingredients to making it right is user research, is engagement of actual people who you are solving that issue for. It's those customers and users whose behavior you're trying to change with some new methods or a new solution being introduced or a different touch point or a change in their journey so that over time they develop new behaviors and they get hooked. It's value for them and value for the business. But what happens if you are blocked, if you have no access to the users? What would you do then? All right, so on a strategic level, you need to drive a change. If there is a business stakeholder or the company just doesn't do research enough or whatever is the blocker, you need to drive a change. You need to sign up for years to come to actually make the change happen. If you actually want to progress, if you want to grow as a designer, if you want that change, you are going to need to be the catalyst for it. You are going to need to highlight why that has to happen. You are going to need to bring the evidence and define UX ROI and why engaging with the users is going to actually contribute to business value. All that hard work, and it's super hard work. I'm actually going to start writing a book on that topic of how to convince someone, how to present the UX value and design value. So if you're looking for something like that, leave a comment down below. I'm really interested to know what challenges you would face beyond what I think you would. That's coming up and probably going to come up in the next year or so. It takes a while. But going back to the topic, you need to decide if it's worth it. If you want to do that, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to grow as a designer? How bad do you want to develop your leadership skills and do the change management? Because that's the missing bit. That could be that your design leadership is weak. It could be that you are a weak design leader. It could be that you don't have a design leader. Maybe you don't have a seat at the table, so that change cannot happen. But you need to assess if it's worth it for you right now to do that change, because someone has to do it. So you could choose yourself and make that change happen and work on it really hard, or you could choose to jump ship and join some sort of company where they value user research driven UX and proper UX. But to join that other company, you're going to need to have enough evidence that you can do it. If you're going to showcase case studies where you didn't do or engage with the users enough, then you're not going to get it. So there's also that chasm to cross, which you can sort of chip at and over time develop enough evidence to actually get there. This is that strategic bit from the personal development perspective, from the actually making a change within organization to actually do the user centricity right. Think if it's worth it. Tactical level is completely different. Something you can immediately start is right now. Like when people say, oh, I don't have an access to the users, what they really are saying that they don't have time, because you're going to need to probably invest your own time. If right now your all hours are focused on prototyping, testing the solution within internally, then you're going to need to carve out the time. The last one is the will to again drive that change. And what got you to this state, to this design culture and these standards is not going to get you to the next stage of new design standards. It's not going to get you to that proper user research driven way. So you are going to need to make a change in your methods, the ways you work, the things you focus on, the change you're going to drive again. You're going to need to do something very, very different. And that something could be that you're going to reflect and learn and tap into the networks like the design communities around there, maybe Design Squad, that's one of them, and ask peer advice how they did it. You might watch videos like this to understand that, hey, you need to change the mindset or you need to change the methods. You need to invest your time. You need to pilot things. You're going to need to assess and provide a list of where the value is at and estimate exactly what's the outcome and convince people that it's the right way to do that. At the shortest term focus, you need to collect the evidence. That the user research and engaging with the users and involving users as a rightful stakeholder and using their insights and their pain points to solve the different problems or highlight the areas of opportunities for improvement is a way to go. And so going back to tactics, how could you do that? It's simple. You have the internet. It was made to connect people across the globe. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are. You can find niche communities. You can join Reddit. You can research forums for the specific use case. You could tap into the support forums which are public for a specific app who could be your competitor. You could go on app stores and find there a lot of anecdotal evidence. You could go on LinkedIn and engage with a specific person or specific groups and networks, which let's say could be very niche. Maybe it's banking, finance, or maybe it's mining for minerals. You could find those people on Quora as well. You could literally search about mineral rights and find a lot of people who work there from law perspective or actual engineering, a lot of pockets of where they hang out online, and then start from there. And when people say, oh, I don't have access to the users because they are so specific, that's the chasm they need to cross. They need to do that extra work and engage in different methods to actually tap into it. If let's say you would join my challenge, the UX challenge of UX prototyping on research or end-to-end UX, I would tell you exactly the same thing. Go back, immerse yourself fully into that niche and find where the people hang out and then engage with them. It could be that you're gonna just capture as a background research a lot of different insights and put them on a rough experience map and use that as a starting point to then inform your interviews. And how could you get the people to be interviewed, or how could you invite them? There's a lot of different ways to do that. Whilst there's services which you could use later on, you just need to Google. There's just almost too many to choose from as long as you have the funds. The free thing, or something you could use for Amazon voucher, is literally engaging with a specific people in set communities and asking them, hey, would you mind spending 15 minutes, join on a call, and I'm gonna give you this $20 voucher or something like that. Or maybe they even would be keen enough to do that. But of course, incentives have to be there. Think about what it would incentivize them. Maybe it's that they can contribute to something, but everybody's time is valuable. What are you gonna bring to the table so that they would be buying in and saying, yes, this sounds good? Sourcing users is one of the biggest challenges, and this is one of the tactical things you're gonna need to figure out. But don't tell me that you don't have access to the users, because you do. You just need to look into it. And that's how I would approach it. I have this blog post and an article, which I quoted in my book as well, of what to do if you don't have access to the users. It walks through my thinking of what I did back in the day as a hands-on designer, trying to run my own discovery before even the project started, before I even got told that, hey, the users might be inaccessible, or you might want to do the proxy type of research and capture insights before going into prototypes, and then maybe testing with the right user types because it made sense for some stakeholders, but not for me as a UX designer. I did it anyways. I did my own research from the books, from the forums, from Quora and different, niche pockets of networks, engaged with them and captured enough insights. So when I started, I was in a good enough state. I wasn't 100% there, but I had some material to start off with. If you can do the same and top that with proper UX engagement and proper user research, then you're going to be golden. That's what I would be looking for as a hiring manager. I would look at your case studies and say, how much of it is real? It's obvious to hiring managers how much you actually do, how much you don't, and what you faked and what you kind of made it look better than it really is. And if I'm going to leave you with one note, which you definitely need to take as a takeaway, is solve your own problems before you try to solve someone else's. You need to take this away and transform the way you work and what you do and how you do it. And then that is going to unlock you with the better ways of working. And then the next opportunity is going to be much easier because you're going to know exactly how to do that quick, fast, and there's not going to be any mental blockers, or even if the blocker is going to come your way, you're going to know exactly what card to pull and say, here it is. This is what we're doing because of X, Y, Z. And make sure that the next project is actually user-informed. It might take you longer than it usually would, but that's the point of UX. You need to invest time in the right thing, so we design the right thing in the end and design it right. Leave a comment down below if you have any other methods or specific tactics which worked for you in the past. And on that note, I'll see you next time.